Hi guys, welcome to the James Bond Show with your host Krazy Kajeevie with no fears, limits or substitutes. Guys, excuse the handheld here, and this is just my quick initial reaction after seeing No Time to Die. Finally, after a 6-year wait, I got to see the film. Cool, I'm going to get to my thoughts in just a moment. Now, I probably got out of the cinema probably a little over 2 hours ago. I did some shopping afterwards, and I didn't quite to do the little mini review straight away response I wanted to do, which was literally going to be as I walked out of the cinema, because I did get a little bit busy and bought a few goodies. And I bought a Sean Connery, you can only see there because it's wrapped up, but poster of Sean Connery up against the DB5, which is a big, beautiful poster, actually. So I got that. Okay, now I'm going to get straight to it. You guys want to know what I thought of No Time to Die. Okay, now as you know, I'm going to do full reviews and everything like that. This is just going to be a quick one. Over the last 2 years at the other channel, the James Bond Show with Krazy Kajeevie, and my new one, the new James Bond Show with Krazy Kajeevie, obviously I've been very critical of decisions that they were making. Now, this is going to contain spoilers, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, guys, come back later. And I am thinking of doing a non-spoiler review. This has to have a spoiler to give you my initial reaction to this film. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, for any Aussie James Bond fans that haven't seen the film yet, switch off. Before you switch off, if you're new to the channel, drop a like, please subscribe and come back later and check out a spoiler-free review. Okay, what did I think of No Time to Die? I love it. I absolutely love this film. Shock horror. There you go. I'm going to wait for, oh, you hypocrite. Oh, how come you like it? You said you weren't going to, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here's where the spoilers come in. Again, final warning, jump off if you don't want spoilers. I predicted over pretty much a 1.5 year period that they were going to kill James Bond. Then a leak came out that, yes, James Bond was killed and he had a daughter. And then after his death, Madeline and Mathilde, the little daughter, drive off into a tunnel. So I knew all that. And then I had the film ruined for me, like the ending ruined because it was confirmed by another person. So I knew exactly what was going on, and I admit, I've listened to all the reviews out there. I've listened to them a bunch of times, every main James Bond channel, and thank you to the other James Bond channels too for doing your reviews. And, to be really honest, even though I've had some issues with a few channels because I don't feel they've defended James Bond enough against kind of a woke culture that was creeping in, I do believe on the information we had, James Bond should have been defended. I still think right now, James Bond to a degree still needs to be defended, which I'll get into another time. But I do want to thank the other Bond channels with their reviews. I think they've been really, really good, really measured, really honest, and I think really fair. So I love the film. I absolutely love this film. Right now, if I had to rank this is my favourite Daniel Craig James Bond film by a mile. And I will explain all that. There's so much in this film, so I cannot wait to see it again. I'm predicting they're going to have to stop me going to the cinema to see this film because I love it so much. Oh, if I had it on Blu-ray now, I'd go home and I would watch it on loop. I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Initial reaction. One thing I want to touch on is people have been very critical of, which again, I'll get into more later on, but, they're putting in On Her Majesty's Secret Service John Barry tunes, and why don't they be original? And then when Bond meets up with them later on, they play the On Her Majesty's Secret Service theme, so not We Have All the Time in the World, but the actual theme in the background. And some people are like, oh, it's just stealing from another film. It's not original. Why don't they be original? People that have come out with those comments just don't get it. Like, seriously, because I've listened to every review and then I've listened to the fans because one channel had all the fans, ring in and do their review. So I've listened to all of those. Like, honestly, any review out there you can think of, I've listened to it, and I've listened to them over and over. I had to fill up my time waiting for the film. And I think so many people have got this film wrong. And people could have accused me for having this film wrong prior to seeing it, but I still stick to the point that you can't kill James Bond to replace him. This film is going to age so well, and it's going to be so perfect that they kill James Bond if they honour this film and this Daniel Craig era by now leaving it. Could they go and do a Nomi spin-off after this? They actually could. My idea, if they ever were to do a Nomi spin-off, don't do it as in a sequel. Don't do it as in after No Time to Die. If she was ever going to get her own spin-off, I would be doing a film of how she became a 00. Her background, her backstory. I am going to touch more on the elephant in the room being Nomi and how I feel about that in my review. But overall, I think that people need to understand that when Cary Fukunaga and the others put in Bond themes like On Her Majesty's Secret theme, and then they use We Have All the Time in the World at the end, they're not doing it because they're creatively bankrupt. Get that out of your head, guys. They're doing it because they're passionate about Bond, and they want to give the passionate James Bond fans those little bits that they know we love and put them into the film. And when it's done with dignity, with class, with style, it works. And I'll tell you, if I had to sum up No Time to Die in one word, I would say class. It is absolute class. It's a class act. I love it. I love this film. I love it because of the risks they took. I love it because of the ending. I thought the ending was absolutely beautifully done. Really beautifully done. And I'm going to be honest, guys, I cried throughout this whole bloody film. Like, I had, even when I didn't realize I was crying, I had like bits of water dripping in. I'm like, what? And I didn't realize I was fully teared up. I cried at the Vesper scene where Bond goes to her grave. I cried at that. When James Bond's in Madeline's home in Norway and he's telling her how much he loves her and that he's never stopped loving her, even thinking about it now, I'm going to choke up. I loved it. And the reason I loved it is because Daniel Craig's performance in this film is the best. He is brilliant. But also Madeline Swan, Lea Seydoux as Madeline Swan, wow. But also the direction of Cary Fukunaga, just to let those scenes play out. Now, one's on this side of the room, one's kind of on this side of the room, and he keeps their distance, but then he pulls the camera out and Bond walks in towards Madeline. It's one film, it's one scene I'm going to do dissecting the directing one day when I've got it on Blu-ray. I'd love to dissect that scene. But then he closes what I call as the director closing the gap, and he brings the two characters in then within the one frame. And it's just beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. The casting of the little girl who played Mathilde is just, she's adorable. She's so beautiful. She's such a little cutie. And you know what? People going on, James Bond shouldn't be peeling an apple for a little kid. Guys, get a life. Like, seriously, he's a human. He's a human. Is this a very different film from other Bond films? For Your Eyes Only, Goldfinger? Yeah, it is. But I tell you what, we've got to be honest with ourselves. Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, probably apart from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, they never truly made an Ian Fleming James Bond film in a way. They didn't bring all the grassroots elements of the novel, his pain, his hurt, his anger. It never really got brought to the screen. So these filmmakers have done this in this film. Do I agree with every choice? Not really. My only real gripe with the film, seeing it once, is there are parts of the script that are treating the audience dumb. Like, they literally giving you information. It's like an idiot guide to No Time to Die. They're giving you information if you didn't already get the other 10 hints about it. And that stuff I'll go into specifically after I've seen the film again, because I'm going to go into the cinema, write it down with a pen and pad. But overall, quick review, guys. I love No Time to Die. I just love it. It's borderline to me. It is. And I'm not saying this on emotion. I'm saying this as looking at it from a filmmaker's perspective, a James Bond fan perspective, both novel and film. I just think it's a gorgeous film. It's beautifully shot. It's filled with emotion. And one thing I will say, a lot of controversy has been about the running time. You know, this is the longest Bond film ever at 164 minutes. I didn't want the film to finish. I could not believe, if you didn't tell me it was a 164-minute film, I'd say you're lying. If you said at the end of it, oh, you know, that's 164 minutes, I'd say whatever. To me, it was like an average 90 to 120-minute film. That is how engaged I was in every moment of this film. I was busting to pee. I did go to gold class. I had I had beautiful food brought into me. I had, as promised, guys, I did have a martini, but because I actually only had about an hour and a half, 2 hours sleep overnight, I went to bed at close to 6 a.m. and I was up, you know, I didn't even sleep that well, but up probably around 8:30. So, yeah, I basically got no sleep. And so that's why I had the espresso martini. And I'm a former cocktail bartender, and it was the best espresso martini I've ever had, and that got me through. And I had a Long Island iced tea in there as well, and a bunch of yummy food, and I just loved it, guys. I just absolutely love it. I highly recommend this film, and I am going to do my darndest. I'm going to do my darndest, guys, over the next few weeks to convince you all this is a brilliant James Bond film and why you should love this James Bond film. I'm going to do my best, but I have noticed the consensus is that from a lot of people that have seen it a second time and a third time, then they're like, oh, wow, actually, this is really great. Now, I want to say one thing about the ending, Bond dying. If anyone out there, and I know there's one particular fan out there that's obsessed with trying to prove people wrong, trying to say that Bond did not die, you have to be certifiably insane if you think James Bond survived at the end of that film. Like, seriously, you've either got Stockholm Syndrome or something, or mental issues. James Bond doesn't just die in this film. He gets obliterated. He's gone. But I think it needed to happen. I understand why it happened. And if you also put in context, he was dying anyway from the bullet wounds. He'd already been shot up. He knew he was going to die. And he went with honor. He died with honor. I love the ending. I would not have changed one bit about it. And also, one more thing I'm going to say. I think people have got the Safin character wrong, saying he's not in the film enough and saying he wasn't that good. I thought Rami Malek as Safin was brilliant. Would I have liked him in it more? Yeah, I would, because he was just so good. But, oh, wow, I think in time people are going to not only love this film, but love his performance. Kudos to the filmmakers. Loved it. Absolutely love this film. And no, in a year's time, 2 years, 3 years, I'm not going to change my mind. I love this film. Thanks, guys, for listening to this. I've probably blown you all away, probably shocked you by my response to this film. I love it. I just absolutely love it. My favourite Daniel Craig James Bond film. And give me a couple of days to rank it in the scheme of things. But definitely my favourite Daniel Craig James Bond film. Does that mean it's a better film than Casino Royale, which is, you know, everyone's favourite? It doesn't mean it's a better film. It's just my preference. I just love this film. From the core of me, I loved it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Stay tuned. Within the next 48 hours, I will bring you my massive review of No Time to Die, and then during the week I'm going to do short stints and reviews. And look, to anyone that still feels hurt and stuff, and hi to Ben from the Bond Bulletin, who did feel gutted. I did a video on Ben at the Bond Bulletin who felt gutted by this film. I get it, I understand it, and I felt the pain, but I had literally tears streaming down me, and I had to hold my mouth because I was about to sob out loud. And I saw other people crying. I had to look over the seats because we were all separated out in gold class. But I saw other people wiping their eyes. And I literally had to get the napkin that I had for my food and wipe my face because I was just I was a baby, but I am a big softie at heart. Anyone that knows me knows that. It's so emotional. It's so beautiful. Love it, love it, love it, guys. So thanks, guys. Till next time. I've been Krazy Kajeevie. Keep on bonding and say hi to Matilda for me.